good. These points negative ground is key to check back the first last speech in the end, and a large topic is also key to critical thinking skills because they need to be able to defend multiple parts of the what is the right against contrary for also key to policy making skills because policymakers always have to defend the policies against alternate policy obstacles. There's an ideological flexibility to set to their counter interpretation. Some people are key debaters, some people are counterpoint debaters. We should be able to choose which one to go from the two, and are they cause community fragmentation out time and strategies and novels. Some people are just smarter, some people are just better, and some people are just faster. We can double by two. That is not the app. There's negative fiat should is a reciprocal pressure. The negative answers that question by saying no. They plan. The U.S. should not. Do they plan to do something else? That's good to key. That's good to key. Negative brand. It's also good to decision making skills because of cost. Benefit now stuck with the policy set. We're not going for that either. If you can see the no the policy set by fiat. Now go on to the topicality. First of all, shenanigans on this flow. They made debris be beyond the mesosphere of the plane. It does not put debris in space. They are a ground-based laser to solve debris. The mandates of the planet are not topical. Doesn't directly develop space or explore because all the action happens on the ground, which is below the Earth's mesosphere. Only deploys a ground-based laser system, not explore, not shoot laser. Does not develop anything beyond the mesosphere. Our interpretation that beyond means outside the sphere or limit. Preferred because it's like a stable dictionary definition that's accessible to the entire community, while government definition constantly changes the dynamic system of laws and federal codes. Both them down. These point is literacy lawful land map programs to replace space-bound programs, to build the research burden, justifies looking at the sky firms through astronomy. Every single formula on this topic could potentially be a ground-based affirmative. They multiply the topic by 2. Now, they're not anti-topical. They shoot down satellites and debris with to make human development net less than the status quo. Now they say we mean this isn't a we mean. You may shoot down debris in the thermosphere, but you are you don't explode the thermosphere because you're not having a direct human or a satellite interaction with it. Now space where you can re-enter, survive the thermosphere to NASA to keep the possible results, orbital to keep false space free, actually space will occasionally have to come across creation, avoid these direct pieces of space out of jack, and the ability to hold space out of lunar, never flow with the orbital space slowly recognize the lunar atmosphere, makes them difficult to track for collision voice. Now they say investigation permit, we can investigate distance to be beyond the Earth's atmosphere. There's also a pretty big limits just out to this. We can investigate anything in space now with any ground-based telescope. Now they say off space, we cannot meet this. The box of evidence says you need to be a human that physically interacts with space. They say ground-based exploration. Ground-based exploration may be topical. You don't mean this because you do not explore. You just shoot lasers from the ground. Topical. Go on to humans. Overview, topicality, big resolution should be our version. The resolution does not better. Here's a case list of what asks we would include. The IHSA point is a colonization program. They have a strategic risk calculus and federal key wars based on launch infrastructure. The beats point is a resource finding for Lexington. Research that's pretty successfully. And the seats point is Gradi's Coast Guard for instance, space capital levels, space and Green Hills affirmative is also topical. Here's a quote from the Solvency Act as a distinct from relative greatest strength of the U.S. would see the advantage of personal issues of spaceport. Now, John Craig's direct app builds a lunar quarantine that involves human presence to collect Mars samples. Now, here's what their app justifies. The IHSA point is extending human influence. Literally just about any app that puts something that human beings made into space, allowing firms to claim operational advantages that we couldn't be prepared for. That's net worse for affirmative ground because the negative will rely on things like process counterplans and cheating counterplans. Also, other piece points any technology from satellite harding retrofitting firms like Damien's technology, controlling space firms that come out of the DoD back, not just that they can't have any spending links. Now, whoever controls the links to limits wins the debate. There are 2 terminal impacts. The IHSA point is creative thinking. Innovation within a set of constraints is not bad for education. We need to actually go to the research base and innovate advantages rather than finding new apps to circumvent links. Also, internal link terms are beta evidence because NASA policymakers have to work within budget constraints and resource constraints of the status quo. The plan only limits is able to access the internal knowledge, but not better for becoming educated citizens. Focusing on a breadth of topics undermines our ability to learn the nuances of any issue. Now, reasonability is arbitrary and subjective. Ourselves does not know what you think is a reasonable force to our cost-benefit analysis framework is best law sufficient. Clash of comparison necessary. Kids most objective. Decisions a portable skill that we can take outside the round. Also, debating about semantics is also inherently good for education because we need to pick and choose what words we use later on in life when crafting policies. Now, go on to the way we they say they make human space flight possible. However, there's a relevant distinction. This is actually topical. The point is that affects topically calories back from the base point isn't it a stable disabilities because they can always spike out of the base point is goes against the framers intent the resolution. Now, group the next to counter interpretation. Every 2AC response back to the question, do they go to space? No, they do not, which means that permutation do both. Additionally, these counter interpretation links to pretty big limits to that because they can justify putting anything in space. Now she makes its argument that says ridiculous. Yes, the technology is built on the ground. However, a human being does not go in that technology to space. Now she says a virtual presence. However, it's not obsolete. Human beings have not explored deep space yet. Only robotic probes have, which means that an app that sends humans to deep space would be innovating within the constraints of the resolution. Now she says functional limits check. Functional limits do not check because they're solvency advocates for most of the asks that we have read. They justify, i.e. Damien's app, i.e. Damien's app's pretty bad for
The app has 327 left.
Okay.
Is that your read now?
I gotta examine it. Yeah.
Fair enough. Trying to get ready for your second exam.
All right.
Already in your head.
T mesosphere, or beyond rather. T humans, and then the K.
See Mark wanting us to tackle about conditionality.
I mean, they can't fail with conditionality.
Are you gonna start with the 2 and C overview or the framework?
I'm going to try and start with a 2 and C overview.
Just take him to the room, Tyler. In the room.
Can I root out in the room?
I'm like 100% serious.
Tyler, get out.
He's distracting.
Are you serious or
Yeah,
not?
I'm 100% serious.
Okay.
Tyler's not going to distract me anymore. Rachel's really nice, so.
Are you going to be okay?
I don't.
Except when she's
You can start, I'm ready to do it.
Wow.
All right, is everybody good while Tyler leaves? The plan takes to deploy lasers, which is why we obviously are beyond limits for you are making this argument. The overview will explicitly concede that a plan that deploys lasers beyond limits for this topic. That is exactly right. You should check the plan next now. You say limits says that, however, you have to see that we are not topic that every app is not public because every app that has some sort of ground control station, not to mention launching is an action on the ground. That means there are no topical apps that interlink to the impact to the limits says that unpenalty because we can never have to we can access any sort of education, unpenalty functional limits, which check the things like word substantial, not to mention they have to be private as well as a federal keyboard. Now there's also no ground distance because we will not speak of any distance to go. We obviously meet or no case does now. Anti-topicals, obviously, there's no warrant for this argument because if we win the confrontation on the other one that we are developing, we're also beyond limits for this reason why we obviously develop because of lasers would obviously develop the space technology. You also have no evidence for this. Now, the T-humans debate is a conceded F ground is that the resolution means that we have to be a private government. The commercial, their interpretation means that we have to be a private sector company doing the F. However, the word AIDS in the resolution means that the U.S. has to be doing, you're answering the wrong interpretation to why there is no topical affirmative because every F would lose to you are not the USFG, which is why there is no topical F cross the after reason why F ground is good. It's also outweighs the negative because the plus side of the black outweighs the 2 error and the first was 2 not to mention 1 error is no respect for and penalty. All your different affirmatives are some of the limits in counterdiction. We will explicitly concede that exploration has to be humans. We are not going for this interpretation. However, development only increasing expertise. This allows for 2 affirmatives that we clarify for says 1 is the Lexington F that allows for linear probability rate. 2nd is R because these are all construction problems that allow for development. Now we internally enter the predictability as well as their limits are because these allow for this is a more limiting topic because it allows for more limits in penalty. It's internal precision as well as the educational effects yourself. It's more of a topic. However, Eric Weston say hack with no evidence in penalty internal into the negative ground because there is no dissent in reason why you should not arbitrarily raise the bottom to where they just exclude the F.
Conceded contradiction only argues topic.
Oh, conceded contradiction only argues topical. If it is truly only about limits, what F? Now, the K. What are the topic where if you think that you should, here's the thing is that they have said that all we need to win this debate is that life is good, and judges think that life is good. They make claims about what they have impacts or fears, but fairness who incentivizes us to create elimination. If that is true, then you should strike them down now and simply vote on whether or not you want to die after this round. Not the top of the truancy indicates that a lot of first of all floating face are voting. You should because it's still the affirmative. I don't think it was a floating. However, if they try to make it into one, the 2 you should reject because the affirmative is simply a question of whether or not life is a good thing, whether or not we should to end suffering. And I know you say you cannot clarify, and you say that suffering is arbitrary. That is a reason why we should not try to arbitrarily assume that everybody would just choose the middle way, arbitrarily assert that there is no value left in that suffering is inevitable. You are just framing that we are all, it's the reason why you are equally arbitrary. It's the reason why we should defer to consensus here and defer to reasonability. It's the reason why you should, if you think that if you think it's not arbitrary for you to want to prevent your own life, then it's the reason why you should not vote. Then you say you are stopping you say you're stopping the devil's snare. That is irrelevant because the affirmative allows to prevent the actual entrapment in the devil's snare to prevent extinction, which is all conceded arguments. Which is why if you are correct about the framing that these rounds spill over, you should not inculcate a culture where we choose not to do anything in the face of the threats. You want to see the penalty. It's also a reason why the F also spills over because we will advocate that we should stop to read out of this round. The penalty states both ethical. You haven't seen this rinse evidence indicates that all our life is key to ethics. The only way we can actually engage in our ethics and actually evaluate whether ethics are good or not is if we have a life. And the first was continuous reincarnation. I'm going to answer that. Although you say turns the case it's irrelevant because you cannot end zero suffering. You have indicated that if suffering is inevitable, which is why the obviously the upper.
Read the reincarnation first.
All right, reincarnation first. belief in life after death causes complacent paralysis makes extinction. Neville Griffin, 1999. The belief in the author's information about fate of vertical lines with the limitation in regards to the construction plans capacity support life, therefore the ultimate shape of belief in the friends, the test passion to save the earth, which now need a market card there, and need also death is real. Harrison, 97, the story after survival, it's in their death. It's not because of heaven after death, death is real. The soul death with bodies mark the card there, and bodies also people are not particles, death is real. Myers and 9. The idiocy when it comes to the suicide is nonsense. The we wouldn't be arguing painful to transcend the universe and to the world with such playing and able to lose. The universe behavior towards not a good guy to be large bodies mark the card there, and bodies impel if you even if nuclear war allows you to reduce extinction and suffering, which is what his impact evidence we're talking about, and what the impact of the case about. That does not assume a world where we all get disease, and global warming makes it all suffering, and then which means that the process in which we would die would obviously be suffering. With interlinked the impact of penalty, even penalty, it's the reason why if we win, the death is a bad thing. Then you should lose the debate. The affirmative debate prove you can prove it. Interpretation makes it impossible to affirm because the elements obviously is now penalty role playing schools answer. Their cap programs 299 students getting incentive real world dilemmas research with foreign policy to place importantly in second policy debate is one very pushing to arguments into the real policy analysis critical critique. Also resolved before Congress represents a legislative form. Army swap so cool in for the constitutional form of legislature after the word resolved of the council of the mayor. Also you as actually means should mean the debate solely about the outcome of policy. Erickson in theory topic ancient doom U.S. the ancient types of these verbs. Erickson action should be program the policy at the government leads the entire debates about whether something ought to now their interpretation here because it requires the negative form to make a decision, which means it exposes the limits period because it makes the weak debate just becomes a personal stance, and it's also a reason why if you survivalists you have also seen it in penalty that the fear of the actual death and fear of this kind of suffering is the key to motivate any sort of action. Is that the only reason we can actually circle back and actually come to terms with the suffering? Like as if we were alive in the first place in penalty, there you can see there's no root cause war reason why you can access in penalty. Envisioning nuclear war is the only way we can stop ourselves from dying. Dying is key to access their impacts, which turns entirely decay.